Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and this is From the Depths Designer, and we're going to be looking at a little bit of designing today of a new ship or two. First, a couple of words. There's been a lot of updates in the last week or so to the development of From the Depths, including a new lure box, which is really interesting to be able to get into some advanced programming. But I'm going to say at the moment I'm familiar with lure, and but I'm not familiar enough with the with it within this game and enough to start the programming. So it's going to take me some time before I could do this. Also, it is very advanced and is quite powerful, but it's going to be not something which is going to be great to demonstrate or to see on the screen. I might produce some simpler lure codes just for maybe balancing some of my ships, but I'm going to try and keep to the basic blocks that are available using the AI that Nick, the developer, provides to show what you can do without becoming a coding expert. There will be some people coming out with some brilliant designs using Lure, but if you're not a programmer, you're going to find it very difficult to adapt, or you may find it difficult to adapt them or understand them to your own ship. So I'm going to stick, for the moment at least, to the basic blocks in the ships, and hopefully we'll get better AIs, because I don't see a problem with the AI. There's a few little bits and pieces I would like to see in the control blocks, but nothing. I think the lure box is great, it's just a little too advanced. Anyway, the other bit is I have been away for a few days, so that's why there's not been much From the Depths being put up. I've been out walking in the hills for a few days, and that's a great getaway. I did schedule a couple of videos to get uploaded for my other games, but now we're back and I'll try to get some more From the Depths in. Okay, so why I'm in the designer and not the campaign? Well, in the campaign at the moment, I'm having to go through and refit a lot of the existing ships with smoke detectors, and that's an ongoing job to be done, because basically without the smoke deployers, sorry, not detectors, the smoke, it's the laser warners and the smoke dispensers. Without them, the ships are just not going to stand a hope. So it's silly me taking in, say, the one of my aerial fleets or one of the other ship fleets when they're just going to get knocked out and knocked about. The other one was the previous ship I built, the heavy AA destroyer. It's a good well, I hopefully think it was a good solution to the problem we had, but I wasn't really 100% happy with the looks and the aesthetics of it. It wasn't very turtley, and it wasn't anything unusual. It was a very a solution to a problem rather than being anything unusual or anything new to the game. It was more a test of the anti-missile interceptors and smoke deployers. That was its main function, so we've done that. So I want to look at something else. One thing is I'm going to be putting that up onto the Steam Workshop, but unfortunately the Linux version at the moment doesn't, for some reason, is not connecting to Steam, so not letting me put it up onto the workshop. So I've either got to connect it over to copy it to my Windows system and then upload it from there, etc. So hopefully that will get uploaded by the time this video is released, so you can go back to the old video and pick up the link to it, or I'll possibly also put a link to it in the bottom of this video as well. So okay, right, so we're going to start a build now. Yes, my build videos is going to be long. For those that haven't seen them before, it is what I does. I don't do short, I do long. Right, time codes down in the description below if you just want to jump into various parts of the game and not listen to me waffle on, or don't want to see me building everything. I will be cutting out little bits and pieces, like some of the boring parts. what I think is boring, but I'm sure you find everything interesting, so why would I need to bother cutting anything out? Yes, yeah, well, we do the whole lot, yes. No, I'll do some cutting. Okay, idea. Sort of using the idea from going against the lightning hoods to get a bit of range and accuracy for our missile systems. One little extra block or change that was added to some of the latest builds was for missiles that use laser designation to actually home in on laser designations from other ships. So another ship can be lasing the target while this ship fires the laser, and I like that idea. You know, I've got a yeah. I quite like the idea of having maybe some sort of spotting ship and the battery ship. So the battery sits back, firing a fairly long-range missile, and then the main ship would be lasing the target, aiming at its vulnerable spots, which the missiles would then home in on. It's also something I haven't done, so I want to investigate this. So this is going to be a two-part build, or maybe all in one. We'll have a look. So let's start with the basic building blocks of this. So if we go, let me just get it here, new object, vehicle, get away a little bit from there, there we go, put that up into the air please, there we go. Right, so first of all, because this is going to be a combined, we're going to make the vehicles fairly utility based, i.e. they'll have one function and that's going to be about it. So we're first of all, let's just put the mirror line on before I go too far. First of all, we'll work on the battery ship. And it's possibly going to have just one function, and that is launching crap loads of missiles. That's its primary function as such. I might also make it the spawning point and the docking point for the spotter craft, so it will have a couple of spotter craft attached as part of the ship, possibly as a sub-spawned vehicles, and also using docking stations, so they'll come back and be docked with this ship as part of the build. And when it goes into battle, so it launches the battery and its spotter craft. The spotter craft will then go and look for the targets. Now, the spotter craft will be air vehicles, so they'll go flying off. I might have two types as well, possibly a fast, high-speed one. Well, look at that, I've got to build one first, but a build one which is a normal sort of plane, hopefully can avoid any target and just tries to sort of aim for the target, not firing, maybe has some self-defense, anti-missiles, flares, everything it can think, even smoke, anything to stop lasers itself. The only problem with smoke is it will actually block its own laser, but basically firing everything it can to just avoid the target, possibly fairly erratic flying, but lasing the target, and then maybe one which is a balloon based. I might start with the balloon base, which is going to be a slow, sits back, high, goes to a very high height, but just has some basic functions to stop things attacking it. Anyway, we'll start with the first ship, which will be the missile boat. So it's going to be a standard turtle design. Now its defenses will be, it's going to sit low in the water, won't be necessarily too fast. It'll have to give some speed to not slow up the fleet in total, but potentially when there is enemy within its range of its missiles, it possibly just slows down, settles into the water as low as possible, and then fires its missiles out. and tries to keep at as long a range as is possible. And we're looking at trying to keep at, this is going to be a long range vessel. We want to keep this as long range, well, I keep on saying long range, 3,000 meters. Somewhere in that sort of range of attack. Now, we're going to start by building the missile system on here. So instead of starting with, well, we don't start, we will set up the missile system first. Now, we're going to have these protected so that one missile does not knock out its compatriots. They are going to need launchers. I want the missiles to fire higher into the air and then arc down onto the target from distance. So we're going to just trying to work out. So we'll need ejectors, and I'm thinking, so that means if we had 4 ejectors on a missile, you would need a 2 gap between each missile, unless they're staggered slightly. So let me just work this out. So if that one goes there, then you need 2 there, but that one could have one going. No, it can't have that, because that would 1, 2, 1, 1. Oh no, that would work. Yes, okay. So launch pads, if I just put the launch pads in here. So we're going to have, come on, hey, oh, just stop doing that. There we go. There, there, there. If we now put the ejector add-ons, let's just make sure these don't connect to each other, and we can then fill in the gaps. So we should have an ejector. So there's a 2 gap between each ejector assembly. That looks reasonable. Now we'll carry that forward. I think we'll have the missile system near the front. So it's 2 there and then out, 2 there and then out. Possibly that sort of arrangement. So that will give us a few missiles to attack the enemy with. So how many we've got there? 3, 6, 9, 12. So that's given us 12. Yeah, now more. Definitely more. There's nothing wrong with more. That'll give us a good 15 then that way. We might put a few little extra, obviously we'll have engine at the back. We might put a few more local missiles on this which are not part of this main laser designated system, which are actually part of a more self-defense infrared, just to yeah, I think that should work. They don't all have to be laser designated, and it still needs to defend itself to a degree against everything that might come against it. So we'll need to make sure that is a viable and is going to work for it. Otherwise it's just going to get picked off by something which is, someone gets in close, but hopefully yeah, the missiles, their main targeting range will be more in the region of the 3,000. So if something gets within 1,000, the missiles might not turn in time, potentially. So I might put some shorter range missiles at the back that only fire in a shorter range, or make some short range ones which are infrared, which for its own self-defense, or maybe even a cannon. We'll have a look on that. Okay, that's that section. Now we've got the missile controller. I can go there, and then we'll need we won't need an identify friend or foe, because this is going to be missiles. Then we'll need a staggered fire, which I'm going to have it on a fairly short stagger. I want these to 0.2. So they'll go to the same spot effectively. What else do we need on here? Missile blocks. So these need to go up as well. Now I'm thinking an 8-block missile should get us around that 3,500 to 4,000 meter range. So let me just get these missiles sorted in this respect. Okay, so we have our 8-block missiles. Now we've got to define how they are going to fly. So we need that long range. So we're going to need 2 sets of thrusters. First set, possibly a delay of about 2 seconds whilst it's popped into the air, and then a second one which fires immediately after, so that's 22 seconds afterwards. We're just going to put 1 fin on this for the moment, because I do want these to go very parabolic, to hit from the top downwards. This will help us with a number of targets. This is not aimed at aerial targets necessarily. It will obviously attack any type of target that the other system is lasing at. 8 fuel tanks, that will give us the maximum amount of range possible for this particular vessel. Yeah, no, I'll leave the fins without. Now, we should not need a regulator at this range. I think that will not be necessary. Now, what we'll do is now the laser designator. So if we go to the laser designator, you'll see at the top here there is a aim at our lasers only. Now that means that a laser which is connected to the same missile controller, you can then move that up to, where are we? Aim at vehicles lasers only. Now that means that will aim at any other control block which is on this ship. This means you can create lots of little small missile, if you've got more than 1 missile system on this vessel, each with their own laser designator, you could set them to have, if yours gets knocked out, it will use one of the others instead. So that could be of great benefit. It could be handy on my Leviathan, where very often it gets knocked out. Okay, when we go up to here, which is the number 3 option, aim at our team's lasers only. Now that means any ship which is lasing a target, this will follow its coordinates, or at least that's what I see this as being. So okay, we're going to have that in there. Now warheads, we will going to have a mixture of warheads, an EMP, a explosive which has had a damage increase, and also a fragmentation. The fragmentation will be our penetrator, so we're just going to set it at 1 degree thing. It's designed, that's the armor piercer. The EMP, hopefully that. So we've got a little bit of a mixture there. Now we've got 1 bit left. Now here we don't need any other predictions or other guidance systems. Now what I was going to look at is possibly putting a safety fuse in. Now a safety fuse stops, even if it's exploded right above our ship, should stop it doing any damage to our own ship. And I want to, hopefully that will stop if a system using an anti-laser system should happen to laze these just as they're launching. Hopefully it should not damage ourselves. At least that's the hope with the safety fuse. It's looking through the spec of it, that should work, but we'll see what happens. Right, so next I want to armor these up a little bit, because we do want to make it so that if we do get hit, our missile systems do not get damaged. So initially we're going to give a little bit of a gap all around, and then this will define. Now we're going to end up with a fairly tall ship, and I'm going to work out which design. I've got a feeling. I has a feeling for something looking a little bit different to normal. Not that that is necessarily a good thing with my designs, but yeah, to be, certainly let's just say I don't want a boring design. I want something that looks reasonable. Why not? You know, we might as well have a bit of fun with it. So we're gonna do a fair bit of sloping maybe on some of these parts. Coming out from this center part of the where the missiles are. Let's now put this in the center. It's only going to have one function really, and that's these missiles. Oops, okay, let's go to F3 mode. Be easier with this here. This is where I don't like. Sometimes it does not go where I expect it to go with the this particular system. Okay, that's why I sometimes don't like it. Oh yeah, all the way through there. Yeah, as I said before, sometimes I just don't get on with the keyboard way of placing blocks, but it does a better job on occasion. Okay, so there, except for that one there, that's not correct somewhere. Captain, we have a problem. There we go. Right, so that's them. They're all now protected. So 2 blocks down, which will make them, you know, fairly well hidden. I suppose I should really put, because he may be aiming for these key bits here, we'll put a lower surround on it as well, just to give it a little extra protection, but I might not fill in everything in the center. This is going to be at longer range. As much as anything, this will just stop it being too top heavy by having a bit down the bottom, but maybe not fill in this section. Let's see, we'll possibly go around here just so that it's filled in around the controller, just to make that a little bit more secure. So if a missile was to fire in this section or explode in this section, it will do a fair bit of damage. With the safety and everything else, hopefully that won't be the case. Right, next on the list, yes, I'm putting a little bit there because I just feel that needs a little extra protection. Right, engine back here. We'd need the front, and we will need an engine, and I'm going to have this sort of go out fairly flat. So I'm going to make this wide. This is a turtle, so we're going to make this wide and flat rather than a long thin, which I did for the previous ship. I'm going to make this standard turtle shape, so our secondary missiles will actually be 2 sets along either side here. So let's just work out the hull, where the hull is going to go. If that's our top of our ship, let's work it out from here. If that's the top of the ship, whoops, press the caps lock. Let's say that it goes out like there. Got some room at the back for something else, and then it goes down a bit. No, from there it comes out 2. Yes, I know what I'm going to use, because just for giggles, wood. We're going to use wood because the turtles are known for their use of wood, of course. You know, turtles have got this, like, I like the styling of the wood. Gives it its turtle shape on and feeling of having a turtle shell. So we're going to have some turtling on the top. Turtlefication, as I've called it in the past, and I like to call it the ship Turtlefication. Right, and then we're going to come out a little bit more. Maybe doing some scales of 2 coming down. Oh, no, we're going to break it up. So if we had a wood, that's the wrong one, wood beam out like that. Don't like that. Wood block. Then another downward slope. Then some more wood blocks. I'll fill this in later, possibly with some beams, or make actually the underneath like that, and then underneath some more. It's got to go out a bit further, out one more, so it's got a little bit of a difference in texture, sort of on the top. Hopefully you can see the sort of thing I'm aiming at. That'll give us the width. And there, from there, it would fairly sharply go down to our base here, which will mainly be metal, to be frankly honest, because I can't afford that much wood. So let's see. We'll start with a nice metal beam, maybe there, and maybe coming back. A metal beam coming in there as our top armor. May replace some of these with metal beams. I'll see, or possible there and there. So that's our hull armor, and put some metal blocks just in there. There we go. And the rest of this, I'll use beams. Something like that. That might do, and then I'll carry that along front and rear, so that we get a sort of basic sort of more turtle shape. So let me just build that section, and then I can have a go at fitting the defensive missile system in this sort of area. So back in a minute, if that looks right. Does that look turtley? Like a turtle shell on top of something? I think so. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Right, see you in a short while. And welcome back. And you can possibly see my turtleification of the basic hull has completed, and I've gone full turtle on this rather than just being a few bits of wood on this. I've decided to go and do the full turtle, and yeah, it's fun. Is it practical? Who gives a crap? It's looking interesting. So these will be the flippers. So we'll put the propulsion on the side here. I've left a few holes where we're going to put our defensive missile systems in, which we'll do next, and also at the back here we can modify that to put our anti-missile system in. And we'll put some smoke dispenser parts up the top here, most probably, and see how that works, and maybe on the head as well. We'll remove some of these to put those defensive parts. It's a bit blocky, so it's not to be fast, but this isn't intended to be fast. The intention is to make it a big target at long range that just fires lots of missiles. So okay, let's just start then on this next missile system, which is going to be short range, so it doesn't need to be that long a missile. So we can go for just some 4-block missiles, which are what we'll do is some ones at the front will be to anti-ship, and the ones at the back will be more anti-air. A basic design, nothing fancy, just some basic designs. Let's put a bit of a firewall in here in case there's any problems. So we'll make these a 4-block missile, possibly 1, 2, 3, 4 pad and 6-way connector. So somewhere in that region, I think. Actually, we'll make it there. Just let's see. Take that one out there. Okay, so if we start with our missiles, with our 6-way connectors, then we put our launch pad on top, facing up, please. Thank you. And then we'll put our missile blocks on top of that. Come on, get in there, get in there. And one more. Should we make them 4 or should we make them 5? We could make them 5 and done with it. Although, no, we'll keep them recessed. So that gives us about a 2 recess, etc. We'll try them with a 4, see what we get as far as a 4 goes. Right, let's put a missile. We'll put some ejectors on here. We might as well put some ejectors. So just to give them a little bit of a boost at the beginning, out of the launcher. No harm in that as such. Right, let's put our missile controller in there now. In here, and a stagger fire. Oh no, identify friend or foe, because these will be AI, and then a stagger fire. Stagger fairly high, I think, on these, so just constantly fire would be good enough. And then we'll put our weapon controller on the end, local weapon controller, and our weapon controller will have its own AI. Whoops. Its own mainframe. So that's going to help in anything trying to target our ship. Will have lots of mainframes to potentially aim at, which should distribute any damage and hopefully prevent it just going for this one here. It's an idea. We'll see how that goes, and we could add an extra ejector onto each of these, or I'll leave them at 1. Why not? Let's get them shooting up into the air. So these are a AI ground missile, so we just need the one thruster firing after, say, 1 second. Oops, that's 10. I only wanted 1. Thank you. And then 2 fins, then a bit of fuel. Let's see, let's think. They might be going against fast targets that have come up, so yeah, fairly much. We need a 1 turn. We'll just put a 1 turn in there. Yeah, fairly simple. That should give it a range of about 1,000 meters. That should be fine for this particular design. Let's just go and make sure that the other side is set up the same, but we're going to give the other side a slight difference. So one of those firing after 1 second, couple of fins, couple of fuel, and then a 1 turn, and then a fragmentation. Let's say you're going to be fairly small, armor piercing, assigned to all. Think go. And where's that stagger fire? Stagger fire. We shall. That's the. Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So that's that one done. Now we'll put in a similar block for an anti-air. Anti-air doesn't have to be a 5-block missile. These are sort of semi, so that means it's going to be about that range, about there. Whoops, it's not central, although actually it must be just where that is appearing. So let's go to the missiles first. 6 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our launch pads pointing up. Well, we'll have them facing the opposite direction. Why not? The ejectors. Definitely important on our anti-air. This is going to be medium range anti-air, I suppose. It's not an AA it's not intended to be an AA system. This is just a get things which are in the area roughly. I'll have it as a 5 block. I'll put the other one on in a second. That's 4 blocks to each of them. Are we? So that's made them each a 5 block missile. Let's put our controller in so that we can see our how this is working. Oops, just going a little bit crazy. There we go. Identify friend or foe, because these are infrared. Staggered fire. Staggered fire, not too much of a stagger. Then our weapon controller will go at the end. We'll need a metal block just to put it onto. AI, weapon controller, just on there, and then a mainframe. So again, got its own mainframe. So we've got lots of mainframes. Okay, so these ones will also just put this down same, just to block it in case there's anything gets through. I won't continue that through. I could continue this all the way through here. Maybe we'll see what our block count's like. What is our block count? 18, we're coming up to 2,000. So yeah, I think I don't want to go too much more. Otherwise it would just get too big, and then we won't be able to spawn it in, which will be disappointing. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, missile. Right, so this one is going to be single with a 1 second delay. Fins, definitely a couple of fins. Let's start at the other end. We're going to have the single pixel IR seeker, a fragmentation warhead set at a quite wide angle. If you want to know why I do a wide angle on these heads, it is so that it will have a chance at taking out something which is detrimental to the vehicle that it's hitting. Not necessarily taking it out in one shot, just enough to make it put it off target, to bring it down, etc. So less agile missiles will be able to target it. Fragmentation warhead. Okay, we'll put the prediction in there, which means we can put fuel and fuel in there. So that's good for me. That's good for me. So that's my rationale for why I set these up this way. So again here, 1 second, 3 fins, 2 fuel, a 1 turn, a target prediction. We'll change that to fragmentation as well. Fragmentation at about 45, and then the 1 pixel, which is the fastest seeking warhead, and then we'll increase this delay to about 0.2 as well. So this will fire a whole shed load of missiles out at our target, hopefully, that may be coming in. I'll set up the controllers here. So here, the AI weapon controller, don't worry about minimum. Maximum range, say, is 1,000. And we're going to say minimum altitude is going to be 5. As an example. There we go. So 1,005. Change that over to here as well. So here, 1,000. And minimum altitude 5, so it'll only fire at aerial targets. And these ones here, which should have a slightly longer range, or let me just check, I think these are also 1,000. Yeah, they're about 1,000 as well. Where's the controller? It's hidden a little bit from me, this one. I have to go down into here. There we go. So this range will also set at 1,000. We won't have minimum or maximum altitude on this one, so that's all we need to actually set, is just 1,000. It'll just shoot at anything that's targetable within 1,000, quite simply, depending on what the AI decides. So no particular order, just if it's within 1,000 meters, I will start firing. Nice and simple. Okay, what have we got left to do? Engine. We need a reasonable engine. I should put some shields, I suppose, on this, but we'll mainly need engine for propulsion. I need to put on the back and I'm going to make a tail on this, so I'm going to put a bit of a tail, and then once I've built the engine and worked out how tall it's gone, what I will do is put on a the anti-missile system above the engine, and put the detector for the missile system. Also, I'll put some flares in the tail section, and I know I filled that in and I said I wasn't, but I've had second thoughts on that. I just want to make sure that it doesn't get taken out by some laser just boring through if possible. So what we'll now do, let's put the engine in, because there is a few bits which are sort of dependent upon this. And someone gave us a tip about pressing G when you place the engine, so point it in the direction that I want the crankshafts to go, press G, and then let's see if this works. So if I put my crankshafts in here for the moment, now if we put the first cylinder up, did that work? Yes. Okay, is that correct? Yep, that has worked. So that's just point it, I want it going down that way. With your engine selected, point the direction you want to go, press G, and it will make sure it's turned the right way. As I say, still pity there's not a graphical way of doing that, but this is a workaround for that particular issue as such. Okay, now I'm going to do my standard up what I call a raised triple design. I do have these as sub-objects, but which I use with my own builds, but I'm doing this just as a build, so that if you wanted to, you could follow it. So then carburetors everywhere. The reason I do with this particular build is I get this central carburetor gets the maximum number of connections possible. Haven't seen many others. I was working on was trying to work on some other alternatives, and I haven't found at the moment anything which is really that much better than the design I have here, to be frankly honest. This as a basic concept seems to do quite well for the number of blocks and cost of the system. Seems to do quite well. So I haven't really with all my playing around, I haven't found anything specifically better that fits aesthetically and within the game mechanics, etc. Okay, so that's a basic engine which has got us up to 1900, and when the game actually corrects that, that will actually be about 3000. So that's going to be more than enough. So let's just put now a roof on this. There we go. So we're going to put a little section. This is going to be for our anti. So we can put our anti-missile systems up here somewhere. So if we let's take out that block. Is that going to be thinking that should be? Oh, it's a little close to that. So I'll have to be the one behind it. Okay, let's just do that slightly differently. Taking out my origin block, which I must put back in a second, but I'll do that in a little bit. That's not 100% required at this second. Let's see where we are aiming at. Don't want a great big hole straight through to my the underbelly of the ship, so we don't need too many here. So let's put that in there. That covers us to there. No, can't put you in there. Okay, you don't want to be. That'll have to just be normal metal blocks then. So let me just get this sorted out. So we'll have 2 bunches of the anti-missile system, which are going to be a 2 block and a 3 block. Or no, we're going to do 2 3 block missiles. One with lots of fins, extra fins. Well, okay. Let me just think the same. We can do some number 2s, just 2 blocks, One side will have 2 blocks and the other side will have 3 blocks. And we'll split them into 2 sections. So let me just see. 1, 2, 3, launch pad, 6-way connector. So if I do it like this, 6-way, and I'll do 6. No, I'll do 4 of each, because we're just going to. This isn't going to be trying to destroy all the missiles. This was just trying to reduce the count of missiles coming against us. So launch pads. Which way is that facing? And the missile block. This will be the 3-way. There we go. And we put in here our missile controller. There we go. And then we just put our control block. And this one, there we go, control block. So activated hostile missile closer than, we're just going to say 500 meters. Where are we? Weapon system, fire. Really simple. Effective range is going to be 2. Whoops, I just fired some missiles possibly at myself. There we go. They fired anyway, that's something. And this is going to be, the missile is going to be an interceptor. With a short range, and these ones are going to be lots of fins and a fuel tank. That should be all it needs. So this is our high, sort of lots of take off the warhead delay. Just really quick firing, basically. High mobility. And then we're going to do this, blocks, metal block, put that there. And if we go missiles, 6-way connector. The controller. And then the blocks. And in actual fact, I might take these a little further. Let's do some more of these particular model, which are the more basic model. Sort of, oops, did I not do this to all missiles? Let's just have a check. Did I do assign to all? Possibly if I find the missiles, yeah, assign to all length, there we go. Right, these ones, let's get the controller in here somewhere. Missile controller, there we go. No, it needs a block to put it against. So blocks, metal block, into, there we go. Now what we can do is put our missile controller. The missile controller needs something on the bottom to connect against. One missile controller. And our control block. Which again is set to any hostile missile with, let's see, limit it to 2. We're in 500. Weapon system, fire. Okay, and our missile of choice on this case will be an interceptor. And 1 thruster, 1 fin, 1 fuel tank. Absolute minimum design, but it will do the job. That's all that's necessary. Okay, that's all the weapons done. Defensive systems for missiles. The only defensive system I haven't done yet is the anti-laser system. So what I will now do is just fill in all of those components and then see you back when it's complete in that respect, and yeah, we'll see what it looks like at that stage. So see you shortly. Hello and welcome back, and I'm just about complete with the new turtle. So we have the tail with the rudder and some control thrusters. I've added a flare system on the rear to activate if any missiles get within a certain range, which I just need to check on the range of that. Bear with me 1 second. Yep, forgot to set that. So if any range missile gets within 100 meters, which means that the anti-missile system didn't work, then basically it fires a whole load of flares out of the back. So that's cool, and it'll keep on doing that, which is excellent. So that will then hopefully the missiles will go after that. Let's see, we have the missile system. We've sorted out the top a little bit. We have some laser warners dotted around with various smoke dispensers as well. When it's in the water, if I release it now, it will slightly go under the water, but it's mainly just keeping its head above the water as such. So we've got a tail, we've got the head. It will just sort of go at that sort of angle, level, just a couple of meters below the water line is ideal. Speed wise, it's not fast, but its main role is to shoot things at range. Some good bit parts in there. If we just go inside to the AI control, we've put a patrol card on there, and there's an AI movement card which I've set to quite a long range, so it will try to maintain around the 3,000 meter range ideally. You know, if it gets within 2,000 it will start turning around. We'll put that so it goes broadside. There we go. A little bit actually broadside away. There we go. 100 degrees. So that will basically keep it away from any targets if it can, and then it will fire its missiles. The main missile battery, we haven't set a specific controller on it yet. I need to just go and find that. So whoops, let's see if I do that. So this will fire, the intention is it will fire, we're going to give it a minimum limit of say 1,000. Maybe we can go lower than that. We'll go 600, but we're going to have our maximum range about 3,500. There we go. Other than that, with the next stage, we're going to split this into a two-page video. Two-part even. So next, you can see I've put some spawner and docking station points in preparation for having a couple of spotter planes, and that's what we will be doing in our next part, or next episode for this build, which should be quite interesting. A totally different new way of doing spotter craft and these missiles. So I'll also put this up into the Steam Workshop once they're complete, because you'll need to download all of the vessels and attach them to make this work. It's not going to work if you only download one vehicle. I'll possibly go through that at the end on the last section, but hopefully slightly different build. Hopefully that's been interesting, or if there's any comments, please leave them below as to what could be a good idea, or something you think might be you want to discuss on a little bit better on what I've done. But generally, until next time, keep fighting, keep playing, and have fun.